The Muslim Takeover of America. Hey, everyone. This is Cleofy again from the Cleofy Podcast YouTube channel. Please hit the like and subscribe button as we move on. This deep dive today explores the growth of Islam in the United States, particularly focusing on Minnesota. The content investigates the reasons behind this rise. Let's look at the deep dive. Jack and Wilson, now your turn. You're on the spot. Before we move on, I'd like to say that we're so grateful to have viewers from all around the world tuning into our videos every day. It's incredible to see our community grow. However, we've noticed that over 80% of you watching haven't subscribed or liked our content yet, which truly touches our hearts. My team and I put in a lot of effort to create the best possible content for you. If you enjoy what you see, we kindly encourage you to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. Your support helps us continue making the content you love. Thank you for being a part of our journey. Now, let's listen to the deep dive.
Okay, let's unpack this. Many of you listening are probably aware, that Islam's presence is growing in the U.S. But today, we're really digging into the scale of it, the reasons behind it, and we're focusing in on Minnesota, where it's particularly visible.
Yeah, so our source material for this deep dive, it's a YouTube video. It's called Inside the Rise of Islam Across America, the Somali Takeover in Minnesota by Nick Shirley. Now, obviously that title uses some pretty strong language. Our job here really is to pull out the key insights, the knowledge nuggets from all the different voices in the video. You hear from Muslims, Christian Americans, other folks too. It gives a real spectrum. The whole point is to give you, the listener, a shortcut to getting informed on what's quite a complex shift demographically and religiously. So right off the bat, the video makes this big claim. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the States, doubled in size, it says, in about 20 years.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is how the video explains why. It's not just one thing.
Yeah.
There are these two main drivers they highlight. First, birth rates. Muslim women averaging, 3.1 children?
Yeah.
Compared to the U.S. average of 1.6. That's a big difference.
Wow, yeah. 3.1 versus 1.6.
Exactly. And the second driver is conversion. The video states almost a quarter of Muslims in the U.S. are actually converts. And most of them, interestingly, came from a Christian background.
So it's showing this contrast, right? Christian churches losing members while mosques are gaining and keeping them.
Precisely. It paints this picture of, a dynamic shift happening. Not just growth, but kind of rebalancing.
Okay, so that's the big picture nationally. But like you said, the video really zooms in to show this in action. It takes us to Minnesota. Why Minnesota? What's the backstory there?
Well, the video explains it goes back to the 1990s. America took in thousands of Somali refugees fleeing the Civil War. And for, various reasons the video touches on, a large group settled specifically in Minnesota. So fast forward a few decades, those refugees, they've had families, kids born in the U.S., and that Somali population has grown significantly. The video projects maybe over 200,000 just in Minneapolis.
Right.
So that naturally means more Muslims born here, and Islam's influence just grows organically.
And you can really see that influence, according to the video. Like Somali Americans in politics, Ilhan Omar, obviously. And they mention a new Somali Muslim candidate running for mayor of Minneapolis.
Yeah, that's highlighted.
And this detail about the call to prayer, Minneapolis allowing it to be played publicly, that's pretty unique, isn't it?
It is. The video points it out as one of the only U.S. cities. Says you might even hear it if you listen closely there.
So the video then takes the viewer, right down to street level, visits Cedar Riverside in Minneapolis and also St. Cloud. And in Cedar Riverside, the interviews, they're quite powerful. You hear people saying Islam is a religion for humanity, its growth, that's God's decision. Some call it the fastest growing religion in the world, and no one can stop it. Even the best and the final religion to humanity. Quite strong statements.
Very strong.
Yeah.
And when asked why it's growing there, you hear things like the great influx of immigrants, naturally. But also this idea that people see Muslims as holding some good, true value, especially how they take care of the family. That comes up.
But then you shift to St. Cloud in the video, and the local feeling seems, different maybe, or expressed differently.
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison. In St. Cloud, you hear an interviewee say the Islamic community's pretty deep in it, pretty big.
Yeah.
And this sense that they all come together. Some people there even think there might be more Muslims than there are Christians here in this area.
That's a striking perception.
It shows how this shift feels on the ground and how that feeling can vary quite a bit, even within the same state.
And some people in St. Cloud are very direct about it in the video. There's that quote, do you guys think St. Cloud has been taken over by Somali? Hell yeah.
Blunt.
And there's this prediction that they'll eventually overpopulate the Americans, pointing out that the first generation, their kids, are going to college, graduating, and importantly, staying.
Building lives there. And this feeling is kind of amplified when you hear from, say, the Presbyterian church member in St. Cloud, also featured in the video. They're quite frank. Christianity, it's not growing, actually declining. They mention the average age in their congregation is 55. They're not attracting younger people.
Yeah.
And their conclusion, Islam's on the rise here. Just a direct observation from their perspective.
And the video shows physical evidence too, right? Like the changing landscape.
Absolutely. It points out St. Cloud State University, 15 years ago, one prayer room. Now, the video says 5 mosques have been built in the city.
5 mosques.
Yeah. And it shows a former Lutheran church. Now it's a mosque. And then, near that Presbyterian church we mentioned, there are 2 mosques within, like, a block of each other.
Wow. That really paints a picture of visible change. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. The video dives into some, let's say, more complex and sometimes sensitive topics, like the perception of Muslim women and the hijab.
Right. This is where you see really starkly different views presented side by side.
Yeah, so first, there's an ex-Muslim woman. She says she left Islam because they control me, specifically about clothes. She believes women are suppressed, even afraid to get killed if they don't wear the hijab. And she actually says quite powerfully, I'm afraid that's why I wear this, referring to wearing one herself, even after leaving. She wants women to have freedom.
It's a very strong testimony of feeling suppressed.
But then the video shows another perspective, a Muslim woman who says that idea that Muslim women are suppressed is just a large misconception. She explains she chose to wear the hijab at 16, says nothing would happen if she didn't. It was her decision. And for her, it's about modesty, covering her body for her spouse, leaving something for the imagination, as she puts it.
So this really brings up a critical point, doesn't it? How can these two experiences, both presented in the video, be so different? It really underscores the diversity within the faith. It's not monolithic. The video uses these voices to show you can't just paint it with one brush. Both experiences, suppression and choice, are presented as real for the individuals involved.
Yeah. The video also touches on things people often worry about or maybe misunderstand, terms like Sharia law or radicalization. How do the Muslim interviewees address those?
Well, the video presents their attempt to sort of demystify Sharia law. They argue it's often misunderstood. It's presented not as some radical military rule, but often is really simple, focused on ethics.
Like that example they give.
Exactly. The one about the prophet saying, it is not befitting for you to go to sleep with your belly full with food while your neighbor is hungry. Basic human decency, right? Now, they do acknowledge there's a political aspect, which can be twisted. And interestingly, the video suggests that both right-wing media and the radical Islamists both view the Quran in the same way, essentially as warfighting material, which, according to the Muslim interviewees in the video, is a total misreading of true Islam. They're very clear. True Islam doesn't believe in violence, things like death to America. Just misinterpretation.
Got it. And briefly, polygamy also comes up.
Yeah, it's mentioned. The video explains it's allowed within Islam, but there's a limit as 4 wives. And it stresses there's a very strict requirement alongside it. You have to treat all wives equally, provide for them, show utmost respect. They're not just toys to play with, as the interviewee puts it. And it's emphasized that it's not like compulsory either. It's an option with serious conditions.
You know, one story that really stood out for me in the video was about conversion from outside the immigrant community.
Oh, the Irish-American kid.
Yeah. This young man, white, family in Minnesota for 70 years, Irish background, and he recently accepted Islam a couple of years ago. After just reading the Quranic literature, that really hits home that conversion isn't just tied to immigration.
Absolutely. And you hear that personal connection echoed in other interviews, too. People describing being Muslim as submitting myself to the one that created me, calling it an honor, being a part of a beautiful religion. These quotes give you a sense of the personal faith dimension driving some of this.
And there was that kind of jarring moment, the personal experience of the video makers themselves.
Oh, the confrontation in Cedar Riverside.
Yeah, where they're filming, and this angry individual confronts them, demands they delete footage, implies there are gangs around, basically runs them out of the area. The host calls it not the most friendly welcome, which sounds like maybe an understatement.
Yeah, that incident, while maybe isolated, does tie into these broader themes the video touches on, like integration, community relations, maybe friction points. It's presented almost as a contrast to the ideal integration discussed elsewhere.
Like the UK example.
Exactly. The video brings up poor integration examples like in the UK where, according to one interviewee, you have subsets of groups believe they need to take over United Kingdom. Even mosques hate the other one. And the Muslim interviewee calls this a disgraced form of Islam, something the Prophet rejected.
So what's the right way, according to that perspective?
The video quotes the interviewee saying the true way is be like them, dress like them, talk to them, help them introduce them to Islam gradually. So assimilation, interaction, gradual introduction, not separation or hostility.
Okay, so pulling this all together, the big question hanging over a lot of this is Islam going to, take over Christianity in America? How does the video leave that?
Well, the interviewees express hope for Islam's continued growth, naturally. You hear things like, Islam is growing, and pretty soon we don't know, it might be the majority.
Right, but they add a caveat.
Yes. Importantly, they often add, not as in a way, as in like for the other people to be oppressed. It's framed more as wanting people to just learn more about Islam and open their minds to it.
Okay.
But then the video circles back to the numbers. As one person bluntly puts it, reflecting on the birth rate stats. If the statistics continue how they are right now, with American birth rates declining and Islamic birth rates on an incline, well, yeah. It leaves that projection hanging there.
Woo. Okay. So we've covered a lot of ground here. Tracing the narrative of this specific YouTube video, it really takes you through these complex, sometimes contradictory perspectives on Islam's rise, especially in Minnesota. I think the main takeaway is that understanding this, well, it means looking beyond just one story, one viewpoint, and seeing all these different experiences and the data the video presents.
Definitely. And maybe as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something for you, the listener, to think about. Considering everything we've unpacked from the video, the demographic shifts, the person's stories, the different community feelings in places like St. Cloud and Cedar Riverside, the integration challenges and ideals, what does all this suggest about how America's cultural and religious landscape might continue to evolve? And looking ahead, what are the paths towards, say, greater understanding and integration versus potentially more challenges as these trends play out? Something to mull over.
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. I hope you've gained some valuable insights. If you're a truth seeker, yearning for divine light and ready to step out of darkness, now is your moment. The truth is that Allah is the one and only creator of the universe. He has sent over 124,000 messengers and prophets to guide humanity, starting with Adam and culminating with the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all. If you resonate with this message, you might be ready to embrace Islam. Simply recite the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith. For further support, feel free to join our WhatsApp group. You can send us a private message there. The link is in the video description. Don't wait until it's too late. We look forward to connecting with you soon.